Hi. Okay, we're live. Oh my gosh, Hannah, screaming. She wants that cookie.
No, don't give it her. I'm just worried because the chili is hot.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be working. I gotta mute this here. Hey there, everybody. We actually were ready on time this time, all together. Everything's together this time. Still getting dinner ready. We're having chili.
Whose is this?
Hannah's.
Okay, then
I need to schedule all of them. I need to just schedule like the year's worth of live stream reminders, and then they'll start showing up instead of doing it half an hour before it starts. But hi, everybody.
Hi.
Everybody say hi.
Hi.
We're still kind of getting food ready, so.
How about Asher? Would you pour milk for all the kids?
This is my plate.
Yes, that's yours.
I get to buy this.
Having chili.
Give me some hot. A lot of water.
Light gray. Oh yeah, it's gray day.
Sorry, buddy.
Water.
Yeah, there's quite a storm going on right now. There's been lots and lots of snow. I just rushed down. I wanted to make a chili dog, so I rushed down to get some hot dog buns, and boy, it was really deep and nobody was around. It's pretty crazy right here right now.
Now the video.
Yeah, the video.
I was nursing Hannah, and then I realized, oh my gosh, it's time, and I didn't get any plates out yet. So
Claudia was saying, she kept saying something to me. I didn't know what she was saying. Ended up, she was saying, Daddy, you need to turn on the live stream on the TV so I can jump on the couch and see myself on the TV.
Mom.
Does that sound fun?
This hangable.
yep.
I don't want to get in freezing rain. It actually is just snowing. It just hasn't stopped snowing. It's kind of blowing. And it's supposed to get windy, or someone said 50-mile-per-hour gusts. But I'm not sure if that's
It was super windy.
that hasn't happened yet.
You looked into the wind, you couldn't see. That closed your eyes.
It was pretty crazy out there. Yeah, chili is good for snowy days. Although this may be one of my first few times eating chili, so I got to eat it if it's on camera.
I was actually watching Just So Trish today, and she was making a thing of chili, and I'm like, oh, that's what we should have for dinner tonight.
I'm ridiculously picky, as most of you guys know, but I've been kind of easing into chili.
Thomas is the only official chili eater besides me, so we'll see.
I love chili cheese Fritos, so it has to be good.
Me too. All right, I'm gonna start looking here. Yeah, it's been snowing all day, and it's just piling high. Thomas had to work late because half the people that work at the store couldn't get out because of the roads, and so he had to work. I think he worked a nine hours today instead of an 8-hour shift. Let's see. Everybody's talking about my hair being in a ponytail. It was funny, this morning we went to the library and I had my hair in a ponytail, and one of my friends there, who always has her hair in a ponytail, she was looking at me and I was looking at her thinking, she looks different today, and then it occurs to me, she doesn't have her hair in a ponytail, and she just says to me, I don't think I've ever seen you with a ponytail. And so apparently we just took turns switching today, so let's see. Chili over spaghetti, that sounds kind of good.
Oh man, I gotta handle chili on a hot dog, which is something I like already first.
With cheese on it, says. Are we keeping up with April the giraffe? I don't know anything about April the giraffe. So no, I guess not. I don't know. It's 64 in California, Claire says. I was looking at Melanie's Facebook pictures the other day, and I thought it was cute because they were at Ryder's baseball game and talking about how cold it was.
Oh yeah,
And
mittens on.
I don't know if they had mittens on, but I was just thinking.
She did. She had.
Oh, did
mittens
she?
on, yeah.
Just our different perception of cold. Have I ever made goat milk soap? No, I haven't, but my sister has goats, and she makes goat milk lotion. I don't know if she's made soap though.
I guess the sound works. I forgot to ask.
Presumably people are hearing me. Are you hearing me?
I'm assuming they can. They knew we had chili, so they could be just observant though.
Anna Martins and Laramie says it's snowing like crazy down there. Mary says yes, so okay, yeah, now I'm saying yes, they can hear
Oh,
me.
if they couldn't hear, I might as well be saying they couldn't hear.
Well, they
Yeah.
just know, that's true.
No, they'd be complaining, that's for sure.
Yeah, so she's saying that people are canceling work because of the storm there.
Schools are closed.
That's how it was. I went to the bank today and
Dungeons
they
and
were
Dragouts
closing
is
early because of that.
closed.
What projects are we doing right
All
now?
Here it goes.
Are you scared?
Yep.
I've been doing lots of just maintenance decluttering projects. Not like necessarily new organization, but just going through old areas.
We're trying to
that
be frugal.
need to
Stay
get
on a
work
budget
done.
until we get things like we like with our new budget.
Well, that's not even the issue as far as what I'm
I thought
talking
it
about,
was.
but we do need to do the girls' closet next, which shouldn't.
I haven't done a
cost very
Saturday
much, but
project in like 2-3 Saturdays.
You've done minor things, just not anything that costs a lot of money. What else am I working on? This last weekend, the girls and I got the new rug in their room and did some more organizing in there. We got some more shelves to hang up above the desk thing, but I didn't get those hung up yet. So, what?
Yes, our hot water heater I think runs non-stop. Non-stop.
No, that's what you're.
Got staggered showers, some in the evenings, some in the mornings, and not everybody showers every day.
No, we have a schedule, but
Yep.
I mean, people can take a bath anytime they want to outside of the schedule, but we do have a schedule so that it keeps it mostly running smoothly.
We really go through hot water heaters though.
Yes, Randy Bamboo, your comic book did arrive. That was very
Oh,
Fun.
that's awesome. Is that the person that actually
Yep.
wrote it? That's very good. I thought it was really
Thank
creative.
you.
Curious about the name Randy Bamboo. How did you come up with Randy Bamboo?
Is that his real name?
Is that his real name? Oh,
no.
that, that
Well,
makes sense
no,
if
that's
that's
not
the
his-
case.
That's the name of the comic. Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about because it's not the name of the author. I don't think that's the name of the character.
I'm sure there's must be a story behind it.
I'm gonna stop talking about things I don't know about. Yes, you are gonna see a tour of the girls' room when we're done, but that could be another 6 months from now by the time we get all the little jobs done. So, he has a bamboo farm, so people call him Bamboo.
Oh.
Our neighbors tried to plant bamboo once. Do you remember
Yep, I remember the week they tried.
that? Didn't work out, but you never know.
Wyoming can't have bamboo. I was trying to tell them that when he was planting
Yes, it can.
No, it can't.
I bet there's some. I think it grows on our zone. Some of it does.
It's tropical. You probably can tell us.
Sammy G, did you get my mail? I'm not sure. What's your full name so that I know for sure if I got it? Have we tried a tankless hot water heater? No.
That would be awesome. I've always heard about them, thought about them, and probably really good. The sediment becomes a real big problem. When we last swapped out our hot water heater, it was half full of sediment. I couldn't believe it.
We have extremely
I hacked
hard
in it
water
just to
here.
see what it was like. But that might be a good idea, possibly. But
No,
I think they're expensive to get going, and
You
there
don't
are
have
other
to eat
projects
it,
higher
but
on
that's
the
what we're having.
priority meter.
I just saw a bamboo. We've been watching different garden tours and a bunch of them in Costa Rica, and this guy had. I've seen it in PVC pipe, but there he had just a big old piece of bamboo laid out on its side. It was like hung up because he said it kept the slugs from getting into the lettuce, and then there was holes drilled in it, and all the little lettuce plants were planted in it. It was pretty neat looking.
That wasn't so bad.
Doing all right? Pretty good? Mr. Solomon lost a tooth this week, and the other one is just dangling by a thread, but he won't pull it out. Let's see. When is Eden's birthday vlog coming out? It's it's half done.
Kind of haven't done some videos in a while.
I worked on it for like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, but I've been having a lot of What's the issue? I've been trying to negotiate with myself what I want to do to make this, like, I don't know. I get tired out sometimes, but I want to keep doing it. So I've been trying to figure out what I need to do.
She has to have a
make it,
system in place. If she
to
doesn't have
make
a
it so
system
that
in
I want to do
place,
it.
she won't do it. So she's trying to work on a new system that doesn't make her too busy. She spends a lot of time filming the video, and then twice as long or 3 times as long editing the video, and then reading comments and having to reply to comments. And she wants to reply to everybody, and I think that's getting to the point where you can't reply to everybody. And it's stressing her out a little bit, but she's doing all right.
It's not stressing me out. It's just I'm trying to have a more long-term vision of I want to continue this. I want this to be something I can do lifelong. I mean, not necessarily YouTube, because who knows if YouTube will even be around forever, but some sort of ministry type thing till I die. So if I'm going to do it till I die, I need to figure
Need a
out
good system.
how to make it so that I don't burn out and that I still enjoy it and I still feel like I have a purpose. And there's a ton you're seeing here of wanting to do more chatty videos. There's a ton of stuff I want to talk about, but I still just keep just running things over in my mind, trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. And I guess that's the INTJ, INFJ. We're finishers, not starters. Mm-hmm. So I felt like I finished my original goal, was to have a unassisted birth, to share that with people. And then when that happened with Hannah, then I'm like, well, I finished. So I don't know. I'm still lost. I'm not going anywhere permanently, but I'm still a little lost in the weeds, and I have a ton of stuff that I want to share and do, but I'm just not quite there yet. Mayo on that hot dog. Yep.
I was gonna call it out. Three-quarters of the world will say gross, mayonnaise on a hot dog. The rest of them are gonna say, yeah.
Yes, Claire, YouTube burnout is real. I think, like, what he's saying was, half of it is just, I'm going to get emotional if I talk about it, so I'm sorry if I start crying, but it's, a lot of it is just the nitpickiness of it.
Why don't you guys
That wears me
comb
down.
your hair different?
Yeah.
Why don't you use recyclable grocery bags?
And it's just, I'm a live and let live kind of a person, and I want to share what we're doing because I want to help other people and inspire them. And I don't care if people do things the way we do, or if they have their own method, or if they think we're crazy even. And so it's not even like the haters or whatever, like that has its own
Those are easier
sort
to
of
deal with,
burden
really.
that comes with it.
They're just a jerk.
But it's like, yeah, they're just mean people, and you can just kind of write that off. But it's like the daily, I'm surprised you don't do this. I can't believe you don't do this. Why don't you do that? And that's the kind of stuff that just, it makes me like want to avoid. I like don't even go in my office sometimes for days at a time because I just don't want to. I don't want to deal with it, and most of the time I just delete everything, so it's not necessarily coming through on my channel, but it comes through to me still, and that just,
It's hard.
it just makes it hard to always, I don't know, just have people nitpicking everything, and that's kind of, I think, where I've been trying to figure out how to deal with it, because I want to have comments because I know that it's a relationship that we're having, and so if nobody can talk back to me, then that kind of is difficult. But then when I do let people obviously talk back, then I have to deal with nitpicking all the time. And so
open this.
I haven't quite figured out how to deal with that situation.
I've been trying to help out with
Mom, open this.
going through comments and stuff, but it's still hard.
Thank you, Mom.
So I think that's just really what it's been, is that I need to get to the place of having a purpose that is inspirational enough to me to overcome the burden of the nitpicking. And when I really wanted to show what a birth could be like, that was a powerful enough motivator for me to get over it. But right now it's just,
Open it. Can I open this then?
I don't know, I just haven't quite got there yet. And then part of it, just like I did that little poll thing about the homeschool vlogs a while back, because I thought if I'm, there's just one person who said basically that they were a waste of time, kind of. But I thought, well, if one person feels that way, maybe a lot of people feel that way, and I genuinely don't want to be putting all my time and effort into something that's not that helpful.
Yeah, we're not making
That's
money
a
off of
waste.
YouTube or anything, so we're just we just want to help people, and if it's not helpful, then
Yeah, I don't want to. I mean, I want to do what actually matters, and and just so you know, making money wouldn't solve the problem. So
Yes.
monetizing wouldn't take away any of the burden of what I'm dealing with. So for everybody that always says, "Oh, you should monetize," it's like, well, I mean, that's not
really
the problem. So also, one other thing that I was going to bring up, because this hasn't affected me, but I know there was this big thing on YouTube recently. I always find out much after the fact, because
Apocalypse.
somehow I'm always oblivious to the drama that's going on. But
a lot of people's
they
channels
disabled
getting shut
comments
down
on people's channels, and so I was just watching some videos about that, and it was just such a reminder that at any moment somebody's channel can be taken down, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And I was thinking that I wanted to tell you all that whatever happens with my YouTube channel now or in the future, I still want to reach out and continue some form of a ministry. And so in the event that that happened, I hope that right now you can go to my blog, which is andreamills.tv, and you can subscribe to
There'll
that
always be updates
so that I
there.
could still continue to find people. And then our address is in the description of all my videos. If you want to write that down, keep it somewhere permanent, so if something ever happened, you can still reach out. And if you wanted to send me a postcard with your address on it so that I could have a file of things, so that if stuff ever went down, I could still, you could still find me and I could still find you. Because I don't know, stuff's just crazy in the world all the time, and so that was just something I was thinking about. So now that I'm here, I'll say that to everyone.
That's the encouraging thing. See, it's funny. I'm trying to explain to her sometimes that like she get her videos get like 10,000 views on average, and you get like 300 to 500 comments, and then some percentage of those are people that are like, "You would be such a better parent if you just did this thing," and that those one little things.
I know, it shouldn't bother me, but it does. It's just the same with my
Because
kids.
you're a
My
good
kids
person.
bickering with me bothers, or bickering with each other bothers me. It's like, I get it that everybody's different, and I've never went on anyone else's channel and ever said a negative thing ever, even though I don't like a lot of the stuff I see.
Most people don't.
And that's just not how I am. And so it's hard for me when people are that way back to me. And most of the people I'm talking to right now aren't that way. So it's like I'm even saying this to
Talking
someone.
to the choir.
Yeah. But it's in real life, a lot of negative energy wears me down. I'm sure it does everyone else. I'm sure I'm not unique in that. But
Here, have some chips.
I just have been emotional lately thinking about it. Whenever I think about the last few weeks, I've really just spent time working on projects around the house, and I haven't really been thinking about YouTube. And when I think about going and sitting down and checking my channel and all, it just makes me emotional because I don't want to do it, but I do want to help people. So there I am.
We'll figure it out.
So even though it's been quiet for, well, a good long while, in the big picture, I'm not going anywhere, but I do, I guess, need
Just revamping.
take some time back to just think things through and figure out what I'm doing. Even though I've been saying that for months, I guess I'm still working on that.
Hannah really loves barbecue chips. She's just starting to get to the point where she's just eating everything.
Apologize for the human race.
I like that one. I saw that too.
And it's just funny. I don't even mean to be complaining because this is what life is. Life is
Yes.
a willingness to suffer for the reward, and an unwillingness to suffer means that you're just making it worse. So in the big scheme of things, I know that suffering the nitpicking is what I have to do to accomplish the
And a
bigger
lot of those
purpose.
people don't mean anything.
I know.
necessarily by
That's the
it.
thing
Some
is I
do.
know that most people are just trying to be helpful. Well, I don't know if they're trying to be helpful, but I don't know.
They don't mean to hurt people.
I guess maybe that's it. I just need to have a break of that, and then I'll be all right.
This is my cooking maker, Dad. Because
Must be a
Camera
different,
is just
someone else's channel. That's not us.
ow, it hurt me. Yeah.
Used to have a dog, Abby. Don't know any name Marina, and don't know.
no. She's
Sam.
saying that's who she wants us to say hi to.
Oh, I got it. I thought you was like, hey, Abby. How you doing, guys?
So hi, Abby, Marina, and Sam.
I'm slow sometimes.
I was just saying. She says you're such a supportive husband and a happy family, and I was just talking to my friends at the library today because us moms always sit and talk while the kids do their library thing, which is why most of the time I don't get very much library video because I'm talking the whole time. But I was just saying today what a good husband you are, and that an INTJ is not supposed to be that great at relationships, but you are really good at problem solving. And having an unhappy
Relationships are a
wife,
problem solver,
yes,
or a
exactly.
problem.
Having an unhappy wife is a problem, and you take that on seriously, and you figure out how to make the adjustments to keep things going smoothly. And I appreciate it very much.
Knuckles is laying downstairs. He's very, very slow these days. Can't see, can't hear. Doesn't really know where he's going. I think he's diabetic. Probably got Alzheimer's. Poor guy. He mostly just pees on things and.
That's Ryan, by the way.
Oh, that was Ryan?
Is that the one you're talking
Oh
about?
yeah, sure enough, Ryan Shelling.
Is that pizza for you?
He's somewhere. Probably sleeping on his bed downstairs.
I'm reading stuff trying to catch up. I haven't really been.
We're reading a lot of these and responding to once in a while, but
Grace is
we
having
appreciate
a
all of
home
them.
birth, and I want to say to Sarah, I don't know if you're on here, but congratulations on having your baby. I was so excited when she mentioned in a comment that she was holding her baby and then it was a month old already, and I was like, oh my gosh. There's so many things that people say, and I try to read them all, and I like, especially people that comment a lot, I start to feel like I know you. And honestly, this is my favorite comments. Well, probably my very favorite comments are when somebody tells me explicitly something in their life that has changed because of what I've shared. That is probably my best. But my second best comments are just when you don't like necessarily tell me anything about me or what's in my video, but tell me about yourself and what's going on in your life and keep me updated on how you're doing or how your family is doing or just what's going on.
It's amazing to think you can have an effect across the world. We've had several people say that they tried the progesterone cream and got pregnant when they couldn't before, and now there's people in the world that were not going to be in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Not for you. And that just makes me really freak out. That's really cool.
Baby has a ball, my good
So it's fun to know that we're having an effect on people.
Do you measure the snow by the height of the kids like it's an Eden bee? It's definitely a Hannah deep
There's
out
a
there.
picture that I took on the thumbnail. It's about an Eden deep over there.
Mommy, help me. Mommy,
Yep,
help me.
I love filling the shopping carts. I think people would be sad if we ever stopped doing that.
Mommy, help me.
Yes, Sammy G, we did get that mail, and she just said what it was. So yes, the crosses and the stickers and the birthday card, we did get that. I can't remember if I took any video opening it, but thank you very much. We did get it, and
Mommy,
the little coloring thingies. How does Hannah like her new crib? She's loving it in there. It was actually really sweet watching them. Oh, that's nice.
Hannah.
Hannah and Claudia. I'm glad that they're sleeping next to each other, even though there's like a barrier between them. It's just really cute seeing them. Hannah's getting where she pulls
get up on
herself
the
up
side
and
of her
looks
little-
over and
I'm surprised how well that little mattress crib worked out. When you
Yeah.
told me you wanted to build that, want me to build that, I thought that's a dumb
Dumb idea.
But it turned out really good, and it's really cute. And I like that she's on a mattress now. All you got to do is literally to take the sides off, and she's in her bed. She's never gonna have to
Yeah.
get used to a new bed. She's already in her bed. I think that's awesome.
Yep, it turned out really great.
Mommy, help me. Mommy.
If it gets Thomas deep, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Mommy, help me.
I'm pretty sure Thomas has grown since his birthday again.
I don't
Because
think Thomas has probably checked his account, has he?
I told him about it.
Oh, did you?
I couldn't wait.
Somebody at an employee where he works at the grocery store backed into his car and had to call their insurance and blah blah blah. Anyways, he got a big check. And we were gonna thinking, oh, I pay your insurance, but maybe we should do something. But no, actually, it had nothing to do with our insurance. It was their insurance. So he's gonna
We deposited
decide what he wants to do with it. And he can get his car fixed if he wants to, and he can just buy 15 million candy bars if he wants to.
He teased me that's what he was gonna do.
What?
He teased me that he was gonna just go blow it on.
He's
candy
pretty
or something.
responsible
Yes,
these
I think
days.
he'll be quite responsible. with
Saving
it.
for a house, and he's a good boy.
And I think he can get some of the stuff out. I hope he repairs the car, but I hope he does it.
I would get the
in
bumper
the least
fixed
expensive
and
way
then nothing
possible.
else. I'd keep the rest.
Somebody in Wyoming in a tiny house whose snow is literally over her head. I mean, out in the country where the wind just really blows, I'm sure it's getting pretty deep. Here in town, there's just enough houses and things around us that the snow doesn't get a chance to drift like it does out on the
Just
prairie.
lost her daddy. That's
Oh,
sad.
I'm sorry to hear
I
that.
lost my daddy a long time ago. He hasn't had the car that long. He's only had it less than a year. He just bought it, so.
Put it in the oven. Put it in the oven. Okay. We're making okay.
I'm trying to catch up and find something that.
Daddy, here's birthday cake.
Birthday
How do you
cake.
Yeah, this is your birthday
We
cake.
how do we decide how much you get for allowance? I made a little chart that was rated them on how conscientious they were with their work and how skilled they were with doing chores and things like that. It had several questions on it that we rated them on, and based on that, they get anywhere from a half a cent to 5 cents a minute when they do their chores.
So they got a time card,
Then they
and they
clock
actually
in
clock
whenever they
in
do
and keep
chores.
track of the time they do for their chores. And if they think they're beating the system by scrubbing the table for an hour, then that's usually still great. If they want to clean all day long, they don't. So that's the thing that works out, balances pretty easy.
But
So
the kids who are most efficient and most thorough earn more money.
yeah, they
per
get a
minute,
raise. They get a raise if they do a good job.
so they don't have to work as long.
and
as they earn.
they get their pay cut if they're not doing a good job. So it's
We-
really fun that way.
I do every once in a while go through it and re-rate everybody to see if they need to have
They
a
get
raise.
experience for clocking in and keeping track of hours, and it's just like really working. And
Cake.
You, make
you want the
for
cake
you?
back? Okay. Oh, another cake. Oh,
They want to know if we're planning a vacation, and we are going to go to the conference in Oklahoma again, and
yeah, that same
Tom's going to be
conference we went
helping
last year.
with it this
Yeah,
time.
they want me to help them stream it, so we are going to go there.
I was just realizing that means that you'll be sitting up front the whole time.
I don't know. It depends on how I do it.
Monitors.
It may just be I'm not going to be like the other guy who's micromanaging every single thing that happened. He just mostly sat there too while he was there. So I'm hoping that I can get the cameras going and then just sit down.
This is how I was thinking how church always was for us when we went to a regular church.
I was the
That
sound
Tom,
guy.
He was
Yeah.
always doing something with the running things, so I always was by myself.
Yeah, I don't like that idea either.
What's Thomas going to do after school is finished? He's hoping to start a family and keep working is what his goal is. So we're praying that works out for him because, I used to feel like when people would ask me, is Thomas going to go to college? And I would be like, I don't know. But then one day I'm like, why don't I just tell the truth? He doesn't want to go to college. He wants to get married and start a family. So that's his goal. So he's saving money.
That's a
and
good goal.
Working toward that goal. So
We push college in our society a lot, and a lot of times all it does is it gives your kids a giant debt to start their life off with. And there's definitely places for it, depending on what they want to do with their life. We're not going to push that you have to do it. I think I've shared this before. I went to college, got my bachelor's, but I totally wish that I didn't. I wish I had that money back. But every situation's different, and it's especially in our area, it's not as necessary.
one of the
at
things that
all.
I thought about that Jordan Peterson talked about was that how many people think that they're going to have a career, and some people do have a career, like you go into medicine or law or something like that. But most of us just have jobs, and then you get in debt through college, and then
Oh
just
my
do a
gosh.
lot of work that you would not do if you weren't being paid for it, and how your life is kind of.
Hannah has totally figured out how to scream to get our attention.
We call it Screamlish. She speaks Screamlish now.
It's like half the noises you make are baby noises, the rest are just straight up
Well,
screaming
they
at
all
the
got
top
to
of
hear
your
it when I
lungs.
first started. Somebody was talking about wanting to move to Wyoming, and is it safe? And I was just thinking, yes, it's a safe place.
Lowest homicide rate in the nation, and the
is
highest
it?
gun ownership rate in the nation. It's probably related.
Any bad areas to stay away from?
No, there's less people in Wyoming than there are in my hometown in California. So there's only
There-
500,000 people in the whole state.
I mean, there's worse areas than others, but it's not like
None of them are necessarily bad.
Yeah,
It
nothing-
depends on how rural you want to be. All of Wyoming is pretty much rural. So there's not our big metropolises are not very big metropolises. So some
they
people
would be considered a small town in other places. Our
Yes.
biggest cities would be.
yes.
So
And so it's a matter of whether you want to be like I'm the only person for 50 square miles, or like Moorcroft is 1,000 people. It works good for us.
I would say if you're moving from somewhere bigger, if you're going to pick somewhere to live in Wyoming, you'd probably want to
By the
at
city.
least be somewhere close to an
Casper
interstate.
or
I'm just saying close to an
Cheyenne.
interstate so that you can get somewhere
Yeah.
faster.
Everything's traveled by the interstate in Wyoming.
I mean, if like some of those roads we had to go on to go to Oklahoma, it's like, man, this is like so far out in the middle of nowhere. If you want to get to anything, it's such a long drive.
Freeway. You've got a freeway.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's helpful, but there you go.
You guys look bored, everybody says.
Asher is he's just about finished studying his driving book, so he's he did finish, he says. So he's gonna do some practice tests on the internet, and then
Are you going to start
we're
driving
gonna
now
take
with
him
me?
over and get his permit.
I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I liked it when I was teaching Thomas to drive. I got to teach him. I want someone to learn more about computers. I feel like I could. This is a good business to be in. So I want to teach him. Asher, I think, is one of the more computer-minded kids of all of our kids. So I think he could.
I think he's
He could
got
do
a
it.
different opinion over there. What's
I would, but
Here you go.
You don't have to do my job. You don't have to take the job.
that's not the problem.
This is
I really
mommy.
want to try this.
He doesn't want to go to work with you.
Oh.
He wants to somehow stay home and learn how to drive. at the
Asher's
same
always been
time.
a homebody. He likes to be at home.
Mommy,
Well,
here
we'll figure it out.
go. I made
Can you
some
leave your doors
food.
unlocked?
Here go, Dad.
Well, probably not something we should talk about on YouTube.
Dad, the cake fall off.
But it's not uncommon for people to leave their cars running
When-
while they go into the store.
Yeah.
Daddy, don't let
Yeah, that's a very common thing. to
Extremely
see.
common. You can go to Walmart,
15
leave your
cars
car running in the parking lot.
And growing up, I don't think we ever locked our doors.
Daddy, here's the birthday. This is called food.
We got a killer attack dog. We can't see you.
He'll bump into you in the
yeah,
night.
yeah.
Dad, you got
We'll show you where all the good silverware's hidden.
We don't have any, so I guess that
Yeah.
worked out.
That's my joke. I've been saying it for like 20 years.
I've never heard it before.
Really? Say it to all my customers.
Well, I'm not your customer, I guess.
you.
What happened to the rest of the kids? We told them when they were done eating that they could quietly move along if they
Are you
wanted to.
enjoying
or
your
they could
chili,
stay
baby
here.
girl? Here, let's turn it this way. There you go.
I wouldn't dare leave my doors unlocked. When we went to California last time, we never locked our van the entire time we were there, and I was like, I'm sure that Papa Doug would be horrified if we knew that we didn't lock it. But it's,
It's
like,
just so
who's
funny
gonna want our
moving from
van?
that. Moving from that. Yeah, you want my 98 12
I mean,
passenger
it wouldn't be a
van.
big loss. Yeah. Anyways, no, it's just
we don't worry about a lot of things in life.
If you don't have nice fancy things that you're worried about getting stolen, then what's the big deal?
We live in a part of the world where it's things are much slower, much more trusting.
There's an interesting question. Do you ever feel lonely in Wyoming? You've lived in a very populated area and
Yes.
you live here. What is
I
the
live right by
difference?
LA, but I can tell you, you feel lonelier there than you do here.
I think that's the case.
There's
for
people
sure.
all over the place, but nobody knows who you are. And I used to joke, we talk all the time about people will pass me head on. I'll be going on one lane and they're coming down the other way, and they're like waving at me, and I don't see them. And that's because I grew up not looking in people's cars, because I'm not going to know somebody if I see in their car. Plus, you do that in California on the freeway and you're going to crash into somebody, so you just don't look in there. Anyways, the other side of it, the coin, is also true, that when you're here, everybody knows who you are. I go everywhere. I'm a computer repair guy, and everywhere I go, people know me. They talk to me, they say, "Hey Tom, how you been?" Blah, blah, blah. And I still don't know who they are 9 out of 10 times. But I definitely felt lonelier in LA than I ever did
It
here.
is true. We go to the grocery store, the post office, and it's inevitable I will see people in their yards that I know, and I wave. I see people at the grocery store that I know, I visit with them. I see people at the post office that I know, and I visit with them. And I may not know everybody in town, but I at least know most people well enough to smile and say hi and recognize who they are, and it's not lonely at all.
Ryan says, I passed Tom in a semi once honking the other song. I'm certain that's true. I'm certain
I
that's
passed
true.
him one time right out by our house, and it's our car, so you think that he would be like, "Hey," and I'm waving, the kids are waving, and he's like,
Nobody
"Whatever."
out here gets it. But you're not. I mean, the person you're driving next to, left and right, and front and back in California, you're never going to see those people again as long as you live for the rest of your life. That's how common it is to bump into somebody you know. And so when you do bump into somebody you know in California, it's like, oh my gosh, what is going on? But out here, everybody knows who you are. In fact, I have a habit. People look in your car so steadily, I have a 2-finger wave. Or if I have my hands on the steering wheel, all I got to do when they're passing me is do this. And they will see it and they'll wave back to me. They're looking in my car enough to see me raise 2 fingers off the steering wheel, and they'll wave to me. I often see just how little I can get. 1 finger will do it sometimes too, but it's just a different world out here. And that's what being in a small town is the greatest thing ever.
I was really having that feeling when Hannah was born and we decided to go to the hospital, and so we called, oh my gosh, she's getting messy. But we called the ambulance to come get me, to take me to the hospital, and it was like, we knew everyone that came. I've known most of them my entire life, so it was not like strangers traipsing through our house. They weren't people who'd necessarily been to our house before, but it's the people that I waved to on the way to the grocery store, and I mean, it was just every person that helped us that day was a person who I had a lifelong connection with, and at least until we got to the hospital. And it was just a good feeling, a feeling like people know you and care about you. And
It also makes people nicer. And the average person is going to be really nice. Like, I stopped and helped a lady in California once who had needed, I don't remember what it was now. She needed a call made for her or something. She ran out of gas. I don't remember what it was. But she was broke down on the side of the road on a busy highway, and she was there for 7 hours
that's so sad.
before anybody stopped. I was the first person to stop. And I guarantee you, I could be on the middle of nowhere on a road that's the loneliest road in the world. Someone will eventually come by, and that person will stop and ask how I'm doing. Mm-hmm. You just can't. Everybody becomes nicer as a rule. I guess you're not going to say something bad about somebody if you might see them in the grocery store the next day. Mm-hmm. And so
or you find out that so-and-so knows.
So-and-so heard from
you're
so-and-so that you
connected.
said to so-and-so. And so it makes people be nice as a rule, and then the nicer people become even nicer.
Do you ever feel like you run out of
Two-finger
new
left.
places to go in Wyoming?
That's a chicken. No.
There's some times that, no, I don't even think so.
I mean, you just everyone's that way. We were talking about that, like living in a big house. What a waste that is for a lot of people, because you still only live in a couple of rooms, really. Like,
Yeah.
you don't ever venture into those other rooms that much. And everyone is that way. It doesn't matter where you live. You've got your little routine of places
yes,
you go.
you tend to
and
take for granted things that are around you. Like, I live right by the beach, and you know how many times I went to the beach? Not that many. And now that I live in Wyoming, man, I should have gone to the beach every day.
And then when we go to California, we always go to
We
the
go to the beach, and it's fun. And Devil's Tower is right over here, you know. And we go we can actually go a decent amount, but we don't go all that often anymore. And And it's the kind of thing that as soon as you live somewhere else, you take it for granted what's immediately around you, and you travel to go do it. So, what are you doing, boy?
He's asking for a cookie.
Oh, you can have a cookie.
Yes, living in a small town, it does feel more like having a family because you're just more connected with. You're more
just
connected
less
with people.
stress.
There's less people, but you're much more connected with those
It's
people.
just slower, and you don't worry about
Maybe you're
things
connected with
much.
as many people in a big place as you are in a small town, but there's so much more spread around. You just don't. It's not as obvious. Do you suppose?
I don't know. Generally, if you're walking down the road and you see a guy in LA, you don't look at him because they might punch you in the face.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, let's say we have 200 people that we're fairly closely connected with in our small town.
No, I'm much.
Maybe there's 200 people in a big town that people are connected
Maybe
with.
some people
it's just
are,
that you don't
but
see
that's
them
not.
at.
Wasn't for me. For me, it was my family, my aunts and uncles, grandparents. That was it. I had a couple friends, and there was some sentimental relation here. But I have much more people in my life here than I ever did in California. But maybe it's not the
Something
same
to
for
think
everybody.
about. What do you try to do to save money?
We just started our budget thing.
Yeah, we just started over. Like, I was doing the budget book with Thomas, which, in case anybody wants to know, it's the book called You Need a Budget. And so I was doing that with him, and it just got me all fired up. So basically, it's not that we necessarily changed anything so much as...
It's changed a lot for me.
Yeah, I did put Tom on a cash system.
I'm liking it.
So, because he always buys the milk on Fridays and whatever cereal or whatever that we
I
get
go
at that
play
store.
Magic and
And so now, instead of him just using his debit card and just getting whatever willy-nilly,
I never looked at a price tag for 10 years.
Yeah,
So
so-
now I find myself looking at price tags.
and that's really, I guess that's just it, is that we stopped using a credit card or a debit card and just have been using cash. And so that's making me use my calculator and actually plan ahead a little better. So I guess maybe that's one way to do it.
I actually feel like I have more money on the budget. It's funny because
I know.
she's giving me money and she's saying, this is your magic budget for the month. I'm like, okay. And if I don't go to magic this night, I have one for next week. Yeah, sure. And what do I do with the rest of the money at the end of the month? I can keep it? Oh, well, great. And so now I'm being all frugal with it. And I feel like I have all this extra money at the end of the month. And I said, this has to be more expensive than the way we were doing it. And she says, nope.
He said that. He's like, we must be doing really good this month because it felt like we had plenty of money. And I'm like, no, we actually got a little less than normal this month. But because of budgeting and actually really paying attention, it feels like, oh, look we got plenty for everything that we need. And it's making us much more appreciative, I think, and conscious of everything.
She's dancing to this Game Boy Advance.
I am working on a page to write everything down on, and I'm on my 4th version of that, trying to figure out exactly the
I think she wants some
best
more
way for me
chili.
to keep track of how much we have set aside for all the different things. So that's still a work in progress, but I'm getting there.
Well, it's pretty hot.
What's dehydrating? I had some carrots. I've been working on cleaning out the freezer downstairs, and I had some frozen vegetables, and I just love storing them in the jars. They're so convenient that way. So I was dehydrating all the bags of vegetables I had in the freezer so that I can move them out of the freezer and up here and make some space down in the freezer, because the freezer is always a nightmare. Also, I had to use those scissors to chop up the meat and stuff for her.
Oh, I didn't realize you did that.
Just the beans and meat, just make them a little smaller. Are you liking the
She
chili?
really liked it. She was trying to get every little piece out of there.
Is it good? She's such a good little eater. I got some video of her Monday when I took her on Fern's, and I'd packed a hamburger bun along with us for her to eat, and she's so cute, munching with her little teeth. Let's see. My husband does great with holding on to his money and budgeting. I have to work hard at it. I definitely do think a lot of it is personality type. Like, there's some of our kids who are just natural at it. I've been a pretty natural budgeter. Not that I'm great with money necessarily, but I never wanted to have to earn money because, well, you all know, money's not the thing that motivates me in life. Therefore, I had to be good with what I had because I didn't want to have to figure out how to go get more of it. Tom was a lot more frivolous with money.
I often joke that all I have from my entire teenage years is a desk and a Walkman. I still have the Walkman just out of sheer nostalgia. The desk is falling apart. But yeah, I pretty much played all my money
It
away.
makes me so proud to see how Thomas is doing. That he's
I'm very proud
going to
of
be
him, too.
leaving home, in a year or so, and he's just like, he has his budget all set up now after doing the book, and he's figuring stuff out. He's taking on more hours at work to earn some more money, and he's just, yesterday, he went with me to go do a couple errands, and he bought me Mountain Dew while we were out, and I was going to buy my own, but he just grabbed it from me and paid for it, and Asher does that kind of thing all the time, because that's his personality. He's always buying these little things. All the kids do, but it was just such a nice moment of thinking how responsible he is and how adult that he's become, and I don't worry about him. I'm sure it'll be bumpy when he leaves home, and he'll have stuff that he still has to learn, but I feel like he's gonna do just
I like that he's looking for a house close by.
yeah,
makes
yeah.
me
He doesn't
happy.
want to go far. He likes to hang out with us, so he'd like to be close to home. Let's see. Somebody asked me something a second ago. Oh, that's what I said. The Clearly Canadian peach is my favorite Clearly Canadian drink.
I had that on a list. I have to keep a little list of all the secret things Andrea mentions throughout the year that she wants. And something like 15 years ago, she told me she liked peach Clearly Canadian, and they were not easy to get.
Well, that person says they're going to get some. So.
They're like $100 on eBay, a bottle. And so apparently enough people, they started doing little limited runs here and there, and so now you can get them every now and then. Someone else said that you can get them now. They're in production
Really?
again.
The book that Thomas and I were doing for his to learn budgeting was just called You Need a Budget, and it was an bright orange cover. It's very simple, but that's just the way I think. I don't like technical. I'm not a Dave Ramsey person or somebody like that, which there's nothing wrong with Dave Ramsey. It's just that I don't care about interest and about retirements and about all those kinds of things. I just want this basic, this is what you got to do, and I like it. It's my style. So
Yeah, housing is really cheap here.
Wow.
Compared to how it was in California, like triple the cost in California. For
that
the
was like
same
20
house.
something years ago though. So who knows?
It's a lot worse now.
Is it? Well, it sounds like you go to like someplace like Detroit and get a really cheap house.
Yeah, it's because Detroit's economy isn't doing all that good.
Does Thomas have to leave home? No, he does not have to leave home. But, I mean, that's the natural next step once he gets done with school. I hope the kids always feel free to stay as long
They can
as they
stay
need
as long
to.
as they like. If
But
they're
I
40
also
and they're
hope
still
that
here,
they
I
feel
might be-
uncomfortable staying too long and want to go be adults and not have us bossing them around anymore. Let's see. Somebody was asking about dehydrating. I've been wanting to, I don't like to talk about things that I don't feel like I know what I'm talking about. So I do want to do some some videos on
Maybe some books.
using our dehydrated food. Yes, I'd like to write some things too. And I've been having so much fun with our heirloom yogurt cultures. So I want to do some videos about that and a lot of things. Once I just get my brain in gear, my emotions in gear.
I feel like this has helped you here.
Yeah, just talking to everybody just does help a little bit, a lot.
There's a lot of houses available, at least where we are. I'm sure there's lots of houses everywhere, but
That's one of the things I always think is funny when people are like, why didn't you buy a bigger house on the boys' bedroom video? Like, what's wrong with you people?
we like our house.
I know, but it's like, where in our town of 1,000 people? I mean, there are
There
some
are
houses
definitely bigger
available,
houses than what we got.
but not like a 10-bedroom house.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, who says you need a big house? It's
I
just
know.
more to clean.
But even though, I mean, there are bigger houses than ours for sale, I'm sure, but not drastically bigger.
we care a lot about being in debt. We don't want to be in debt. I'd rather have a shack that I own than a mansion that the bank owns. So,
Is Claudia still witty? Yes, she is.
oh
She's-
man, she's a fire plug.
I'm trying to think of any of the. Well, you already told them about her tonight when she realized that we're setting up the camera stuff. She's like wanting to jump on the couch and see herself on video, and she can't wait till that happens. She's like asking permission for that.
See you read that chili?
Where'd her spoon go? Not that she would use it necessarily, but I
It's-
like to know that it's available,
it's
so she
right
wants
here.
to try it. I actually ate a bowl of chili like an hour before we did the live stream because it was smelling so good. Let's see. We bought a house and I've lived here for 3 years, and it's hard. I think it's hard when, especially if you live in a community. Like, I would say we know our immediate neighbors less than we do the community as
It's
a whole.
probably just like anybody else. I didn't know my neighbors in California, and I don't really know. Of course, our neighbors keep moving away.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that people.
Wyoming's kind of a
changes.
boom area, and so there are a lot of jobs come in with oil and coal, and then they go somewhere else when the oil and coal goes somewhere else, and so it's a boom and bust. It goes. A lot of people are transient. Meeting somebody who's actually born and raised in Wyoming is fairly rare. Andrea was, and her parents, and her grandparents. All of our kids,
Yeah,
yep,
there's
but,
a lot of people.
But
in
that's
this
not
house.
normal. We like to grow where you're planted and just put our roots down, and we'll be here for forever.
Yes.
It's the greatest place on earth, as far as I'm concerned.
There's that whole feeling. I think that God made us, not that this is how it has to be for everybody, but we were made to be born and to have our little piece of the world and to cultivate it and make it our own and have our little area, and there's a satisfaction that's in that, of just sticking somewhere and that being your place, that it's easy to give up always searching for the better place and never really quite finding your spot in the world, and so you could just stick in the spot you're in and make it the spot you want it to be, instead of
There's
searching.
the concept of the grass is always greener on the other side. That's totally true about where you live, too. If only I moved to this place, it would be super great. And if only I moved to this place, it'd be super great. And chances are it's super great where you are. Of course, I wouldn't go back to California for all the tea in China, but
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not that you can't move or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just that you should have a really good reason for it, and know that no matter where you go, it's not going to be the perfect thing. So figure out how to just make where you are good.
Are you doing it?
yep, every single time I'm slow, I worry. I'm pretty sure I'm going out of business every time it's slow, every day. I don't know if that'll ever go away. I actually, this week I haven't had a lot of calls, but I had a lot of calls in the shop. I've been at home actually the last
Yeah,
2-3
it's been
days.
really nice.
And it's been a lot of fun. And I've actually had plenty good work and paying jobs, but I definitely worry that I'm going to go out of business all the time. That's just my style. Andrea doesn't worry. I'm the worrier. But
Even if you did go out of business, something would happen and life would continue.
I'm sure that's the case. But
We're not going to just starve to
we've been doing it 12 years in a row
No.
now, so things have been fine. What,
14.
14 years? I've been saying 12 years for 5 years, and I guess I can start saying 14 now for the
There
next
you
5
go.
years. Time to upgrade.
It's almost 7 here, so I guess we're getting kind of close to the end
Near
of
the
our
end,
time. But
Bloom where you're planted, that's right.
did I read that your dad was moving? Must have been the other YouTube family, because my dad's staying put. My sister has been living out there with her husband in their camper, but they're going to be moving into their new house here shortly, and her baby is due next week, so they're going to be having a baby any moment now.
Yep, God's the one that provides. That's definitely what I really like about my job, is that if it is slow, I pray and I wonder, is there something I'm doing wrong, God? He's paying my bill, I feel like, rather than somebody else, a paycheck or whatever. And you tend to trust your paycheck, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's nice where we're at here. If I hadn't worked commission first before this, it would have been even harder. Just going to commission was really hard for me.
And say it wouldn't have been harder in the big scheme of things,
It was
but for you
harder for me.
emotionally,
What
it was
did
the stepping
What did I
stone.
say? Is that not what I said?
I mean, it wouldn't have made it. I was just reading that book I got Ruth Stout's book today in the mail that I had ordered, and there's this thing where she was talking about digging this asparagus trench and looking back on it, how unnecessary it was when she learned it. It was a huge job, and but I look back and I think, well, if I had done something else that day, would it really made my life different now? Nope. So whatever happens is what's supposed to happen, and you learn what you learn. And
Oh yeah, Bethany's due any day.
yeah, that's what I was just saying.
Oh, you did? I wasn't listening at all.
Shocking.
Shocking.
Oh, maybe that's Papa Doug is moving.
Oh yes, Papa Doug is moving. Yes.
See, good
Boy,
thing other
someone
people are
paid
paying attention.
Yep, he's still there. They're still trying to sell their house in California. They're moving to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And
Donna's
they're
family
working on
lives there,
selling their
so.
house. So
Did I make a blanket for my sister's baby? I did not. No, she actually does her own crocheting and things, and I think she made some of her own blankets. So I made her a picture to hang up on his wall. I will have a video whenever I get those vlogs edited. There will be some of the baby shower that we put on for her. So
Yeah, that's not food.
I admire your trust and faith, Andrea. Would you consider? Yes, that's something I would like to share. That's definitely some of the things that I want to talk about.
I share a lot
but
of faith on my channel.
Tom shares a lot of his faith on his channel.
Anyways, gratuitous plug.
Yes, her baby is a boy. Papa Doug is Tom's stepdad. Tom's dad passed away when Tom was young. And
Yep.
his mom married Papa Doug, and then they got divorced. But he's still very much who Tom considers his dad. So
Does Thomas do trigonometry?
no, we aren't doing trigonometry. We actually are doing business math instead of trigonometry because to
More
me that's a
useful.
much more useful thing. That's what I did in school. Tom did trigonometry.
I like
And
it.
on principle, he would think that
I
that's
like
what we should
calculus
do.
better.
But if you're not going into a math field, I'm like,
Yes.
man, let's
All
just
my
do what actually
calculus
makes
doesn't
more.
come in that handy out here.
Yes.
Or anywhere, probably.
That's the thing that one of the troubles I have with having like standard, this is what you do to graduate, because it just seems like a lot of wasted time if that's not something that, if it's something you're interested in, you're going to do it because you want to do it. And if you're not interested, then maybe let's not worry about that.
Well, thank you.
She says
Oh my
Ruth Stout's
goodness.
book is wonderful. I read the first 3 chapters this afternoon, and I told Tom again, I'm like, this is somebody I would have loved to have just got to spend an afternoon with, because she just seems like such a fun person that I would have liked to have known in real life.
Reminds me of your grandma
Yeah.
when she was not as sedentary.
Yes.
Bunnies are doing good. They're just living life. We got him a little warming. Actually, we've had that warming pad for Knuckles. He never touched it his entire life. He wouldn't sleep on that for nothing. But they put the warm mat in their cage, and they love snuggling on that thing. We put a fence in between them both. I don't know if you shared that.
Yeah.
Because one was just beating the crud out of the other one.
He still has a sore in his nose today because they must have bit him through the fence.
Yep, and so now we got a fence between them and put the heating mat half between both of their sides. And they still snuggle. They still enjoy each other.
They sit right next to
Yep,
each other.
still like each other, but can't live together. So,
Claudia, she needs help.
All right, well, let
well,
me answer
we're
a
about to
couple
sign
things
out here, anyways. Here,
Yes, we do watch Naruto.
oh, Naruto's great.
The book that I'm reading is How to Have a Green Thumb Without an Aching Back. Grandma Fern is doing really good.
Okay, alright, that's enough.
Hannah does not like trying to stand. I try to make her put her feet on the floor, and she screams. She doesn't like it, but I've been working on that. What's her favorite snack? Chocolate. No nuts. That's mine.
Favorite snack?
I'm going to go so I can go take
Some
care
sort
of
of
this
candy
bathroom
bar.
situation that needs dealt with.
I like Fifth Avenues, but those are hard to find.
Thank you all for
Yep, I think we probably will
encouraging
just
me today.
probably just shut her down, huh?
Yes, you can tell them goodbye, and I'll
We're gonna close it up a minute early. Sorry about that, but
Goodbye.
all right. See you guys later.
Bye.